Hi, I'm Christina Johnson. I'm your host for the Pan de Dios podcast. The Pan de Dios came to me here in Mexico as an expression of goodness, of gentility, of kindness. And the podcast is about Pan de Dios moments in your life. We're doing the first sample here for the Pan de Dios podcast with Diana Von Welanetz Wentworth, and she's going to tell about a Pan de Dios experience that touches her to her very core.
I think the most magical thing in my life has been a kind of knowing that I can call on at any time. And two good examples of it are I've had two husbands and I've been widowed twice. So my first husband I met in a hotel lobby in Hong Kong. For some reason, I got all dressed up and went and stood down in the lobby. It was my first day in Hong Kong. I was 21 years old. And I was standing there thinking, why did I come here? And the elevator opened and out walked the most handsome man I'd ever seen. His companion was called to the telephone. And so he walked over to me and asked where I was from. And 3 days later, we were engaged. Our connection was so deep and so instant and so predestined, I think, even though I have no proof that there is such a thing. But when soul meets soul, instantly and is received by both, I think those have been the most Pan de Dios examples. And in fact, Christina, showed up in my life when you were 21 and I was 29. We were in San Miguel de Allende. And I don't know how we heard that there were yoga classes over at the Via Santa Monica. And you were my first yoga teacher. But there was something about you. You had an irrepressible delight in everything. And you were always being uplifted by just tiny little things. And we got to be very good friends. I have so many stories because that was over 60 years ago that we met. And so you are one of my Pan de Dios. And then after my husband passed away, when he was quite ill, he suddenly said, I don't want you to be alone. And I said, send me someone. It just burst out of my mouth. And he said, I will. And I actually wrote a book by that title called Send Me Someone, a true story of love here and hereafter. But then when I met a man 2 months later, he walked into a meeting that I was facilitating. And somebody asked me, they said, Diana, how are you getting along really? You know, I was recently widowed. And for some reason, I said something that just kind of came out of my mouth like a frog, you know. I said, actually, I'm enjoying my solitude so much that the first man who looks at me with the idea of a live-in relationship could become the victim of an axe murder. And I had never said anything like that in my life, but I'd said that to this whole audience. And Ted Wentworth had walked into the meeting for the first time that day. And during the intermission, before the speaker went on, he walked up to me, and the first thing he ever said to me was, will you live with me? We're married 6 months later. So, you know, I mean, magic happens in my life, and it happens right out of the blue and out of nowhere. And I trust it so much that I think I magnetize even more of it.
Okay, thank you so much. And may Pan de Dios ever be rising
Yes.
in your life.
Pan de Dios.
It rises.
Yes, you need it, and it rises.
Okay, God bless you, Diana.
Thank you, sweetie.
I hope you enjoyed the Pan de Dios moments. Please let us know if you have a moment that you'd like to share on the podcast. And goodbye now, and may your Pan de Dios always be rising.